Tzu Chi volunteers in Indonesia give aid supplies to refugees for them to celebrate al-Fitr. Tzu Chi's medical team helps a young man who was injured in an accident reconstruct his face. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Tzu. Thank you for joining us. Tzu Chi Teacher Association in both Kuala Lumpur and Selangor, Malaysia, hosted a training camp for teachers from 2 schools for refugees. The 2-day camp offered courses on stress management and advanced teaching methods, hoping to motivate the refugee teachers to gain more knowledge on educating the children. Let's join them at the training camp.
This class teaches how to use simple everyday items like poker cards as teaching materials. Tzu Chi Teacher Association from both Kuala Lumpur and Selangor, Malaysia, hosted a training camp from teachers from 2 refugee schools.
The schools keep on improving, so we aim to apply international Cambridge courses into our future teaching curriculum. Therefore, we must prepare our teachers as well. For example, one of the things is working on their pronunciations, because it's a crucial skill to have as a teacher.
Mastering the English language is one of the best ways to be internationally competitive. Therefore, the training camp included an English phonics course to help them improve their pronunciations.
When you pronounce the tongue must be behind your teeth, up there.
When I am teaching the phonics course, I realized that my teaching methods weren't so effective with the students. I needed to read word by word and not a whole sentence at once. It's really great to be able to have this type of reflective feedback.
A team of psychologists also came to host a class on the topic of stress management.
Today training is very nice for me, so I think my life is very stressful. But really, I am writing on the paper, so I have a stress, but I can sort. I know myself.
Most teachers from a refugee background have and are still facing many life challenges. These types of stressors are easily reflected in their teachings. If they can learn how to properly manage their stress, it will be very beneficial in both their personal and professional lives.
The 2-day camp offered courses on stress management and advanced teaching methods, hoping to motivate the refugee teachers to keep on educating the children.
Fasting during the Islamic month of Ramadan is a kind of spiritual cultivation for Muslims. What follows the month is al-Fitr, a festive holiday much like Lunar New Year celebrations. However, it is difficult for refugees in Indonesia to feel the festivity. Therefore, Tzu Chi volunteers have brought aid supplies for the refugees, warming their hearts. Let's take a look.
Wandering aimlessly in this foreign country, most of these refugees come from Afghanistan. al-Fitr normally is a day for them to reunite with their relatives and friends, but at this time they are not able to feel this festive atmosphere.
We are one big family, and that is not defined by blood relations. I want to sincerely express my gratitude for being able to stay with all these loving individuals.
Night Tzu Chi volunteers went to the Refugee Learning Center to distribute al-Fitr gift packages. This includes rice, oil, dried foods, and other daily supplies. Some refugees also volunteered to help, stating how much that they appreciated the work done by the volunteers.
I feel like the refugees need a lot of help and support from different organizations, from Tzu Chi. And this initiative I really supported, and personally I want to thank the team Tzu Chi for coming here and starting this free package distribution to the refugees.
The aid supplies are filled with heartfelt wishes of the volunteers, which allow refugees to feel the love and warmth of humanity.
In Indonesia, 64-year-old Chinese Muslim Muhammad has lived by herself for 38 years. She is hearing impaired and then she injured her knee, making her both jobless and homeless. Tzu Chi volunteers helped her find accommodation as well as giving her financial aid. For al-Fitr, the volunteers also came to celebrate the holiday with her. Feeling grateful for Tzu Chi volunteers, she said that was her happiest day in Malaysia.
The 64-year-old Chinese Muslim Muhammad suffers from hearing impairment, and she has lived in Malaysia alone for 38 years. Ever since her knee was injured, she was unable to work and had become homeless. It was not until last June when Tzu Chi volunteers helped her to find this accommodation and gave her financial aid, her life has become a little better.
I'll save it up fully and then give it to the brothers and sisters in the office. I pray for a sorrow-free and healthy life.
Muhammad used to not trust anyone because she has no family around and she was once cheated by others. The volunteers have slowly opened Muhammad's heart after a year of care, and now she's willing to save up in coin banks and doing recycling.
Every month she'll go to do recycling with us. She has a good memory. She remembers it's the third Sunday every month after she went for the first time. Now she will ask us to take her to do recycling during the breaks.
On the day of Ramadan, the volunteers have prepared a feast and decorated her house, hoping to provide her the experience of celebrating the holiday with family.
Tzu Chi volunteers have helped me greatly. I'm too grateful to speak because Tzu Chi has really changed my life. I'm 60-some years old now, and among the days I've been in Malaysia, today is my happiest day.
The manufacturing process of the global textile and garment industry may use 8,000 chemical agents, many of which are harmful to humans. These chemicals, which may be absorbed through the skin, can cause developmental abnormalities and disorders of the nervous system. However, the health of workers is often neglected by employers. Bangladesh is the world's second-largest exporter of garments, and local workers are exposed to chemical dyes on a daily basis. Here is our in-depth report.
The Bangladesh textile factory has a small dye house. When workers mix the dye, they're exposed to very strong chemicals.
The factory is poor ventilated and chemicals pervade the air, with workers spending 12 to 14 hours a day in this environment.
During the dyeing process, we discovered that workers who even touch dyes with their bare hands.
Bangladesh workers have absolutely no protective measures. No gloves, no masks. They touch it directly with their hands when they move it.
The level of education in Bangladesh is very low. Most workers are not aware of the chemical dyes they touch every day. They contain heavy metals and plasticizers.
Chemicals using dyes like nonylphenol are a class of environment hormones, and even a trace of contact with it can increase your risk of disease.
Bangladesh workers must add chemical dyes and some industrial alkaline in the process. There's a pungent smell of chemicals which may be harmful to their health.
When I work in the factory, I sometimes feel that breathing is difficult and I'm more likely to get sick.
During the interview, we felt our eyes itchy as well as our nose and throat. Through the camera lens, we captured just the tip of the problem in this factory, as cotton and wool can cause dust.
When the workers cut the cloth, there will be a lot of tiny cotton fibers floating in the air. The factory doesn't pay much attention to workers' health and safety. They do not even provide masks. Some workers say they feel uncomfortable after working for just a short while.
Through our camera lens, you can see that the spinning machine is very loud when it is operating. It is more than 100 decibels, and workers here need to endure the noise as they work here.
We only saw 2 workers wearing earplugs. Almost all other workers don't wear any protection.
The health of textile workers is being threatened. Workers in garment processing factories, although they do not have to endure noise or touch dyes, their workplace environment is still not ideal. According to an International Labor Organization survey, 75% of garment factory workers saw their health deteriorate after entering the workplace. The main reasons are poor ventilation and lighting, a lack of toilets, insufficient water and food facilities, high fire risk, and leaking electricity.
Some machines have wastewater which contain chemicals, and they're on the ground, and when this encounters the leakage of electricity, it can result in worker death.
Bangladeshi workers are victims of the global production chain and may be sacrificing their health. When they leave work, conditions may be no better, as the chemicals and air pollution from these factories affect the whole city. Where they live may be like a huge dye tank. Research shows that PM 2.5 levels in Dhaka, Bangladesh rank among the top 3 in the world. For Bangladeshis, filling their stomach is still more important than their health, as they struggle to have the living environment that others enjoy. This tragedy could actually have been avoided because it was discovered that the building had obvious cracks well before the collapse, with a worker strike taking place. However, the factory threatened workers that if they didn't work, they wouldn't get paid, resulting in one of the worst industrial safety accidents in the history of Bangladesh.
After the Rana Plaza collapse, almost all European brands refused to place orders in factories located in tall buildings. They wanted single-story textile factories with clear safety exits.
This textile factory in Bangladesh has a lot of cracks in the wall. It has been open for 18 years. The factory owner worried about worker safety and purchased a neighboring piece of land where a building with reinforced concrete is being built, with workers and machinery moving in 1 year.
We only built 6 floors, but our foundation can handle 10 floors, so it can easily resist an earthquake.
Now the construction and fire safety of Bangladesh factories are valued.
This all has sprinklers and we meet all fire regulations, as this system will deliver water and put out a fire. Foreign customers have strict fire standard and the fire safety system is very strict.
While more attention has been paid to fire and building structures, many workers still face an invisible danger. Health hazards are rarely reported in foreign media, and these workers cannot speak for themselves as their health rights and interests are often ignored by employers. This means that there is a terrible price to pay for fashion.
Zhang Zhiyuan barely escaped death in a motorcycle accident last year. He was seriously disfigured and now blind. The medical team, school teachers, and city volunteers became important support systems for him and his family. In the past year, besides regular home visits, the Tzu Chi medical team has assisted Zhang Zhiyuan in reconstructing his face. This helped greatly in finding back his for self. Let's see his story.
资源要喝牛奶，都是用这样子胃造口灌的。OK。他是摩托车让同学载，然后在去年7月份。
He was getting a ride from a classmate on a motorcycle July of last year. They had a really bad accident right in front of a gas station. His classmate passed away right on the scene, and Ziyuan was sent to the Veterans Hospital right away. His nose was bleeding heavily at the time, with the majority of his facial bones fractured. The doctors predicted that he had a 90% chance of being in a vegetative state.
然后医师全部完全清醒，可以走路，手脚都好的，可以走路，可以动。
To us, it's quite a miracle that he's able to be fully conscious of his surroundings, can walk on his feet, can move his limbs, and he is almost able to eat orally. I feel very relieved.
你知道明天是什么节日？知道吗？
等一下，想一下，我先起来。
啊，对啦。
The biggest change between the mother and Ziyuan is that they didn't really have much of an interaction before. Now, due to Ziyuan's condition, their relationship has really blossomed. They now spend a lot of time together and have a really close bond. Due to this change, Ziyuan has also learned to be grateful for his mother's unconditional accompaniment.
我想是我。 好难哦。
好啦好啦，你跟妈妈说，妈妈我会孝顺你。
妈妈我爱你。
上来一次
？2个礼拜，上来慈济医院回诊。
好，张开。
After referral to the Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital, we helped him reconstruct his facial structure. Most of the facial bones were missing, so there was no way at first to make his face look decent. All the pieces of broken bones cannot be placed in such a way where it would hold and mold his face again. We also didn't have any other bones that we could take from other parts of his body. That's why we later used the 3D reconstruction method, where we customized bone plates to go into his skull. It was carefully organized and placed strategically. We then made a mold from his mother's face and head, because it's much similar. We started to rebuild his facial and skull structure using advanced computer simulations. When that healed, we went back to do 2 more surgeries to complete the whole head.
先训练你不怕狗狗好了。
我会怕的。
对。他很喜欢被摸。
他很想饿。
对，他在摇尾巴很开心。
我不可能一辈子待在。
It's not possible for me to stay by his side forever. This is one of my biggest worries. I just wish and hope that he will get better soon. I pray that his surgery will be a success, and I would like to see him progress in his follow-up treatments.
这里要记得椰汁吗？
嘴巴我看一下，来。就是这个味道，臭臭的，就是这个。对。
好了好了好了，哇，好大口！吐出来，来，起来，吐掉，快出来！哦，
很难看呀。
I think he has his mother and father to thank for. It's the power of family. There's also the Tzu Chi's volunteers' continuous care. I think the ongoing care really helps the parents. It's a solid support system.
He is always looking forward to you guys' visits. Whenever he knows you guys are coming, he's so happy. It really helps a lot. His mood is always uplifted when you guys are here.
我会牵着你的手，像是路又是青蛇。
The 2018 Tzu Chi Global 4-in-1 Leadership Training Retreat has kicked off in New Taipei City. The 5-day course is taking place in Banqiao and Sanchong, with nearly 1,000 volunteers from more than 20 countries attending. Among the participants at the Sanchong Jingsi Hall, there was a couple from Japan. In the beginning, the husband did not support his wife's volunteer efforts during the 2011 Japan earthquake. However, he has changed his ideas after he was inspired by the volunteers' selfless dedication. Here's more.
The lyrics, melody, as well as the meaning of the prayer song softens the hearts of the Japanese volunteer, Mr. Nakamura.
I don't know why, but every time I hear this song, I just can't help but shed tears.
In Nishinariku, Osaka, Mr. Nakamura, who is over 70 years old, joined the volunteers to prepare for aid distributions for the homeless. However, back in 2011, he did not support his wife's volunteer efforts during the Japanese earthquake.
Whenever my wife went to help with the disaster relief work, she had to leave home for more than a week. Since there were only the 2 of us at home, I was left alone. I was lacking a sense of security, and on top of that, there was no one to do the housework.
I told him that we are helping people, not for personal reasons, but with the spirit of great love. This is what Master Denyon wants us to do. We should put our own agenda and worries aside. Finally, he was persuaded.
Unexpectedly, this created more common topics for the couple, who had been married for more than 10 years at that time. After learning to humble himself, he has also changed his temperament.
After putting on the Tzu Chi uniform, I felt like it was just natural to go out and help people. It was such an unbelievable feeling.
I once said that Tzu Chi was my first priority, and he was the second one. Later, he was willing to be the second place in my heart. That's why he now helps me do household chores.
At the end of the year, her husband will become a Tzu Chi commissioner. In the future, this couple will go hand in hand to walk the Bodhisattva path.
Tzu Chi volunteers in Keelung district visit the elderly care recipients and solitary seniors once a month. This time, as a special way to celebrate 2 volunteers' on birthdays, they brought cakes to share fortune and blessing with all the care recipients. Let's take a look.
我甲阮孙兄吼，拢同个月生日啦，阮2个生日差3天啦，来买一寡物啊吼，安尼买一寡食物来甲这个感恩会结好缘，人人欢喜，细胞就健康啊嘛。
This Tzu Chi volunteer couple, the 76-year-old Xiaoling Ajao and the 80-year-old Xiao Jiachang, buy cakes for care recipients on their birthdays every year. They hope to share blessings with these seniors. Sixty volunteers divide into 12 teams to visit 48 seniors in Keelung District. Lin Shihao insists to take time every month to accompany his mother to visit care recipients.
I'm very happy my parents are doing Tzu Chi's work because normally I don't have much time to spend with them, but through Tzu Chi activities, I can have better interactions and more things to talk about with my parents.
The seniors are excited about Tzu Chi volunteers' monthly visit because they always bring love and kindness.
Tima doctors always treat patients like their own family. Carmelita Satari is an eye doctor in Indonesia, and she has joined Tima since 2014. She feels grateful every time she participates in free clinics because she's able to serve those who are in need, thus practicing the spirit of great love.
56-year-old Carmelita has been a doctor for years, and she is still passionate about her job. Other than treating patients in this eye clinic, she also shares her experiences with young doctors.
Conducting a free clinic has taught me to be thankful for being healthy, because that's how I can continue to serve others.
Carmelita joined Tima in 2014. When her friends invited her enthusiastically, she agreed right away.
We are here to serve each other. I think Tzu Chi is a very well-structured organization, hence they have so many volunteers dedicating their efforts. I've learned to be thankful and respectful, and love others in Tzu Chi. This marriage should be taught to children because it's what the society really needs.
Her colleague for 6 years deeply admires her determination to do good deeds.
To be honest, being a senior doctor, she does not need to participate in the free clinics. However, she wants to seize the chance to serve others in need.
Carmelita also participates in many charitable activities of other organizations because she believes that as she serves others, she is also cultivating her wisdom.
Now we leave you with Heartbeat, a song dedicated to Syria with a message of hope. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.